Okay, gonna do a couple beer reviews, reader reviews tonight. I'll talk more about who sent them and what they are, but I just wanted to pour them here. Woo, that puppy was popping. I'm gonna assume these are bottle conditioned, although I'm not sure. Usually a keg fill is not gonna be that carbonated, so I'm just gonna do the pours here, then I'm gonna sip on them for a while, take some notes. And then I will come back with my summaries. This must be what he calls a session black. This is the American wheat beer all grain kit from Northern Brewer. However, oh, that reminds me, I should probably get the yeast in this one. I'll probably try it without the yeast, and then later I'll do it with the yeast. Except what he did is he cultured up some yeast from a Harpoon UFO series beer. I'm not sure, but I think it's a series, so I don't know what particular one it was. And then cultured it up and fermented this beer with that yeast. So that's another thing I'm going to keep an eye out for. So there's the beers. I'm going to start tasting them, and I'll get back to you. Okay, I've been drinking these beers. I pretty much drank most of them, both of them. They were sent to me by Jim, so thank you, Jim. I enjoyed drinking these. Both of them are clean tasting, which is something you'll always hear me say if I notice that, and if I don't, I will speak to that too. Start with Session Black. It had a big pop. I'm guessing it was bottle carbonated. If it was a keg fill, that would be interesting that it had that much of a pop, but it didn't taste over carbonated, so you know, that was fine. Just a big pop is all it was. That beer was very sessionable. It was not heavy in flavor, but it was not light, which is kind of often what you get in a session beer. There was some roast character, but it was not thick. It was not as much as a stout. It was also not particularly hoppy, like your Black IPA, your American Black Ale, whatever you want to call it. It didn't have that thickness of the mouthfeel either. It was a medium mouthfeel, medium to light even maybe, but still had a decent character. It is dark. I do not have the grain bill, but I wonder if there's a little bit of roast, but maybe some of the, like, what is it, Carafa 3, some kind of dehusk thing that gives you black color, but not a lot of flavor. Nice job on that one. If you like a dark beer and you like a session beer, yeah, that's what that is. That worked out nice. So good job on that one. The American Wheat kit from Northern Brewer, which Jim brewed with yeast cultured up from some Harpoon UFO series yeast. I found that very also clean, and it tasted totally, what were some terms I used? It was kind of sweet. It was, at first, in the main mouthfeel, there was a lingering bitterness, a little bit probably from the hop character, but it didn't have a ton of hop flavor, not necessarily hop aroma that I was getting. It was mostly just kind of some sweetness. I wasn't necessarily getting like a lot of wheat character, but I'm also not going to say that it's not in there. He commented that some of his beers are kind of gray before they get clear, and this is kind of a whitish, grayish color. At times. I mean, there's tints of that. I'm wondering if that has something to do with the grain bill. I wonder if it's, you know, like when you try to make a wit beer, you're trying to make it kind of white, so you use certain grains. So I don't know if that's something you run into a lot. Jim, I see kind of what you mean, and I don't know that if it was clear, if it would change. It's sort of an aesthetic thing. It doesn't taste bad. But that I'm not really sure exactly what to say. Maybe just try like making just a beer with only 2-row pale malt and see if you get that same character. If you do, then maybe it's the water. Might have to look into something like that. Let's see. It was murky, but that's typical for that, you know, kind of a beer. I drank it without the yeast at first and was getting some flavors. Then I swirled it up and dumped the yeast in, and it actually didn't change it that much, which kind of makes sense if it's a clean yeast strain. Not a lot of hop character, like I was saying, just really smooth, really nice, really drinkable, well made, perfectly decent, solid beer. I'm not really sure what the Northern Brewer all grain American wheat kit contains. Oh, I could have looked it up, but I just thought of that now, and I'm not going to do it right now. One note on that, related to that point of culturing up yeast, I have racked my beer that I made with the cultured up yeast that I did the video on. I did that last night. It fermented down to 1011 from 1056, I think. It tasted just fine. Tasted very clean, very nice, very simple pale ale, just 2-row pale malt and Cascade hops. It's a new Albion ale style recipe. It did not particularly taste unique from the yeast itself that I was getting, but it did taste good, and that was obviously the first goal. Second goal is I was hoping to get some character from the yeast. Maybe I still will. I will see. I will update you guys later on that. But I was thinking about that when I saw that he cultured up yeast from some Harpoon beer and made this beer out of it. So, nice beers, Jim. Thanks for sending. I hope this feedback has been useful. Not really critical, but I did enjoy them. You guys have a good night. Catch you later.